Are you tired of losing at pickleball? Do you want to gain a competitive edge over your opponents? If so, then you need to learn about the power of pickleball mind games. In this video, you'll discover the psychological tactics and strategies that top players use to gain an advantage on the court. Hello and welcome to Pro Pickleball Media, your number one spot for all pickleball content. Our channel is dedicated to the fastest growing sport in the US, and we cover all fun and exciting things related to pickleball. So if you love pickleball and want to learn more about it, just take a second to subscribe. Press the bell icon so you don't miss any of our recent videos. In today's video, we're going to talk about pickleball mind games. Now let's get right into the video. How do you use body language to deceive your opponent? What are the best ways to mess with your opponent's head during a match? How can you use your opponent's weaknesses against them? These are just some of the questions that this video will answer, giving you the knowledge and skills to dominate your opponents on the pickleball court. So get ready to outsmart, outplay, and outlast your competition with the ultimate guide to pickleball mind games. Pickleball is a game of skill, agility, and strategy. While mastering the technical aspects of the sport is crucial to success, the psychological side of the game is just as important. In fact, some of the best pickleball players in the world attribute their success to their ability to use mind games to gain an advantage over their opponents. So, what are pickleball mind games? Well, put simply, they're the psychological tactics, strategies that players use to throw their opponents off balance, disrupt their rhythm, and gain a mental edge on the court. This could involve things like using body language to deceive your opponent, playing mind games with your opponent's expectations, or using your opponent's weaknesses against them. One of the most effective tactics that players can use to gain an advantage over their opponents is to fake them out with their body language, by intentionally making movements or gestures that suggest you're going to do one thing when you're actually going to do something else. You can trick your opponents into making a mistake or hitting the ball in the wrong direction. This video will explore the art of using body language to fake out your opponent in pickleball. The power of body language in pickleball. Body language is a powerful tool in any sport, and pickleball is no exception. By using your body to communicate false information to your opponent, you can create confusion and force them into making errors. For example, if you want to hit the ball to your opponent's left side, you might start by looking to your left, then quickly switch your gaze to your right just before hitting the ball. This can make your opponent believe that you're going to hit the ball to the right side, causing them to shift their weight and prepare to move in that direction. When you actually hit the ball to their left side, that may catch them off guard and unable to reach it. Similarly, you can use your body to create a false sense of urgency or hesitation in your opponent. For example, if you're preparing to hit a hard shot, you might suddenly freeze for a split second as if you're having second thoughts about your approach. This can make your opponent believe that you're going to hit a soft shot, causing them to move forward in anticipation. When you suddenly unleash your hard shot, they may be too far forward to recover. Using facial expressions to deceive your opponent. In addition to using your body to fake out your opponent, you can also use facial expressions to communicate false information. For example, if you're preparing to hit a shot down the line, you might start by looking straight ahead with a neutral expression. Then, just before hitting the ball, you might shift your gaze slightly to the left, as if you're going to hit the ball cross court. This can cause your opponent to move to the right, creating an opening for you to hit the ball down the line. You can also use your facial expressions to create a false sense of confidence or uncertainty. For example, if you're about to hit a difficult shot, you might furrow your brow and look worried as if you're not sure about to make the shot. This can cause your opponent to relax and lower their guard, making it easier for you to surprise them with a successful shot. Now, before we move ahead to talk about more game-changing pickleball tips, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that we can keep bringing more informative pickleball content to you. Your little contribution means a lot for us. Using body language to set up a fake-out shot. Another effective way to use body language to fake out your opponent is to use it to set up a shot. For example, if you want to hit a drop shot, you might start by making a big wind-up motion as if you're going to hit a hard shot. This can cause your opponent to back up in anticipation of a powerful shot. When you suddenly hit a soft drop shot, they may be too far back to reach it. Similarly, you can use body language to set up a fake shot by making a fake hit before actually hitting the ball. For example, you might start to swing your paddle as if you're going to hit the ball, then stop suddenly and wait for your opponent to react. When they move to respond to your fake hit, they can hit the ball in a different direction, catching them off guard. Another effective mind game is playing with your opponent's expectations. By giving them a false sense of what you're going to do next, you can catch them off guard and create opportunities to score points. Now let's explore the strategy of playing mind games with your opponent's expectations in pickleball. Setting up expectations. In pickleball, players often develop patterns of play that become predictable over time. For example, if a player always hits the ball to their opponent's left side, their opponent will start to anticipate that shot and position themselves accordingly. By setting up expectation, players can use mind games to catch their opponents off guard. For example, if you've been consistently hitting the ball across court, your opponent may expect you to continue doing so. Instead, you could hit the ball down the line, catching them off guard and scoring a point. Faking out your opponent. Another way to play mind games with your opponent's expectations is by intentionally faking them out. For example, you might start your swing as if you're going to hit a hard shot but then hit a soft drop shot instead. This can catch your opponent off guard, causing them to miss the ball or hit it weakly. Similarly, you could start your swing as if you're going to hit a forehand shot, but then quickly switch to a backhand shot instead. In addition to faking out your opponent with your shots, you can also use body language and facial expressions to deceive them. For example, you might look to your left just before hitting the ball, causing your opponent to move in that direction. When you actually hit the ball to your right, you may not be able to recover in time. Breaking patterns. Another way to play mind games with your opponent's expectations is by breaking patterns. As mentioned earlier, players often develop patterns of play that become predictable over time. By breaking these patterns, players can surprise their opponents and create opportunities to score points. For example, if you've been consistently hitting the ball to your opponent's backhand, you could suddenly switch to hitting it to their forehand. This can catch them off guard and force them to adjust their positioning and footwork. Playing with your opponent's emotions. In addition to playing with your opponent's expectations, you can also play mind games by playing with their emotions. For example, you might intentionally hit the ball out of bounds, causing your opponent to become frustrated or angry. This can cause them to make mistakes or become more predictable in their play. Similarly, you might intentionally hit the ball softly, causing your opponent to become overconfident and make mistakes. The importance of balance. While playing mind games with your opponent's expectations can be a powerful strategy, it's important to maintain balance. If you rely too heavily on mind games, your opponent may catch on and become less susceptible to your tactics. Additionally, if you become too focused on mind games, you may neglect your physical play and become less effective overall. Therefore, it's important to use mind games in moderation and maintain a balance between mental and physical play. In conclusion, playing mind games with your opponent's expectations can be a powerful strategy in pickleball. By setting up expectations, faking out your opponent, breaking patterns, and playing with their emotions, you can create opportunities to score points and gain an advantage over your opponent. However, it's important to maintain balance and not rely too heavily on mind games at the expense of physical play. So, what do you think about these pickleball mind games? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow picklers. Also, if you love pickleball, then make sure to watch this next video on our channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.